what if instead of all this other stuff that the government did, they just sent everybody vitamin D, right? So she says instead of COVID tests, which is more recently, but I'm just thinking generally, right? What if back in the spring or the fall, whenever you want to argue that we should have reasonably had a handle on this, the government said, we should send everybody vitamin D. Because I recognize that very early on. I wish I had queued up the post to put on here. But on April 13th, on my Instagram for my students, I posted a picture of me drinking a smoothie and taking my vitamins. And I was like, there's not whatever. This is one way you can protect yourself no matter what, is just be healthy, live a healthy life. Very clear to me, almost exactly 1 month into the kind of realization that something was going on here, that I realized it's a very specific group of people who are dying. If you look at the data, it's older people and people with comorbidities. Typically, there are older people with comorbidities, though there were also younger-ish people with comorbidities. So if you looked at the data, you could tell. And had they sent vitamin D, because actually I don't have the statistics in front of me either, but vitamin D is pretty deficient across the board in Americans. It's going to vary both based on your geographic location. So if you live down south, you're less vitamin deficient than if you live up north, where there's less light, less time of the year. And then it's also going to vary based on the color of your skin, because that determines how much melanin your body is able to produce, which is related to how you vitamin D you can produce. These are big factors, and we definitely knew that. So much so, in fact, that in the beginning of summer 2020, July summer 2020, before Trump went and opened his big blabbermouth, scientists were on TV saying, yes, schools should be open 100%. So I'm going to share this clip right here. We have doctors on MSNBC. This originally aired back in early July 2020. And we knew back then that kids and schools should be 100% open. Every pediatrician in this clip says yes to open schools, and yet we kept schools closed or only open in name but not really open, causing all these disruptions and long-term damage that I think we're just only starting to discover and be able to come to terms with in any real sort of way. So let's play this clip.
Without a hesitation.
Without a hesitation, yes.
I have no concerns about sending my child to school in the fall.
I would let my kids go back to school.
Dr. John Torres, NBC News.
They all said yes.
Would you let your kids go back to school?
All right, so that's the very beginning of the
clip. They're looking forward to it.
Yes. Period. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I guess I had accidentally started the clip right in the middle, but now we've seen all the doctors, and you can see they were adamant. Yes, 100%, absolutely. And then at the end, it almost seemed like the host was like, "Oh, they all said yes." Well, there you have it, commercial break. So I don't know what he was expecting, or if they obviously had these things recorded, if he wasn't cued. But anyhow, you can see that back in July 2020, even if thinking back then, it doesn't seem like there was any moments of sanity. Apparently there were moments of sanity. And it really was that moment. I remember making a video about it when Trump was like, oh yeah, schools should be open. And then it was like, oh, we can't do what Trump says. And so there was that knee-jerk reaction where it's like, our policy is the opposite of what Trump says. Even if that's in and of itself a stupid thing. You know, what Trump said maybe was stupid, so then the opposite is also stupid. Doesn't necessarily make it the right thing, right? Or sometimes, Trump kind of was onto something that was kind of right. And, even people who you don't necessarily like are sometimes right or sometimes make the right call. And we could never acknowledge that. And him saying that schools should be open, whatever you think of him, was the right call. And yet, because he said it, it was that knee jerk reaction. And now we are here, we are with mandates. So it's pretty frustrating. In New York City, we still have these mandates going on for toddlers, for public and private sector employees, and there's no end in sight. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you've smashed that like button and leave me a comment down below. And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, which you can watch more of by clicking here, or for even more, go to teachingliberty.org and join our community today.